Hi everyone. I'm glad you came tonight. You are quite a number. That's nice. So as Jonas said, we are here to talk about DevOps. Just first, some presentation. My name is Maxime. I'm working here as a consultant in Nalys. And before that, I've been working for about 5 years in France for the IGN, the Institution of Geography in France, working on their geographic products. And without even knowing it, we actually made some DevOps stuff. So that kind of takes some stuff. And that brought me to this universe that I clearly love. So, DevOps. That's the question I guess you're going to want an answer tonight. But before, I would like to have some feeling about you. So, who, just raise your hand, who has never heard about DevOps and just like came here to see what it's about? Okay. Who heard about it and think, you know about some stuff around DevOps? Okay. And who is actively using some DevOps? Okay. Cool. So, I guess, what is DevOps? Problem. I'm not going to answer that. Thing is, you're going to see DevOps is something that's really subjective. It's going to be your vision. It's not going to be completely defined. And you're going to have your own approach to it. What I'm going to do is give you some tips, tricks, a view of what I see. It's going to be subjective. I'm sorry about that. But I'm going to try to share it with you so that you can build your own way of thinking around it. So just so we expect the same thing. The role of the presentation. I will not be exhaustive. DevOps is limitless. There's no end to it, unless the one you put in. So you will have a lot of other stuff. You will have a lot of other ideas, articles, whatever, that's going to tell many things that I will not tell tonight. As I said, it's not going to be objective. It's going to be my vision. And I think this one is the most important one. You will not get out tonight with like some kind of package of solution that you can just apply to a project. It's going to be something you need to work on to apply and adapt to your own context. But we'll do some stuff. So it's going to be a rough preview. It's going to be some hints and tricks. We're going to answer the most important question, why DevOps? Because, okay, it's trendy, it's kind of hyped right now, but yeah, what is it? Why? And try to clarify some kind of hidden, preconceived ideas that might give a false preview of what it is really. So some history before we go on. Sorry, I'm maniac. Quick history. So actually, DevOps is originated from agility. And the first time we heard about things that became DevOps was with the agile infrastructure. So actually, it was someone called Patrick Debois, who's Belgium, in 2009, who the first time spoke about the word DevOps and introduced the DevOps days. If my memory is correct, it was in Ghent. And from that, we had all the trend that we have today. What he did basically was take old concepts, old ideas, old problems they had, and put all together to catalyze it and make this kind of new train of hype, which is the agile infrastructure. Given the developers, the operationals, and the business, we had first the agility that came in to fill this gap between business and development, trying to make the needs being understood well, trying to make everything flow smoothly. But the problem we had is developers had their products and needed to deploy it quickly because we had the sprints, but the operation didn't move along. So DevOps came in to allow having this agility applied to the infrastructure, meaning you can have all the business line that is smooth. So the story is about the devs and the ops. Yeah, the color doesn't mean anything. They have both their cultures. Developers, they want to build new features. They have the client needs, the business gives them. They want to build new features. They want to build new projects. They want to make things interact, build new services. And the operational, on the other hand, they want stability. They want to have the product up all the time. They want to have good SLA monitoring. They want, things that are stable and rough. Thing is, developers, they need to push some stuff, so they give it to the operational. And as you can see on this Marvel Death Star, it's not finished for the operational. But the developers, they're like, it fires it, it's working. So that's the problem. It's working for the developer, it's not working for the operational. And they have both their culture that says, I did my work well, you did not your work well. And that was this kind of wall of confusion that built it like this, because of this segregation of duty. So the idea about DevOps is changing that so that everything goes in a good way. But if you think about it, some of these problems that developers and operational they have, maybe it's not due to their own teams. Maybe it's also due to whatever business that said, oh, you need to deliver this thing in like 2 days, but we cannot. You have to do it, whatever, even if it's dirty. So they have like this kind of friction because operational did something and they didn't report it to developers. So if you think about it, developers and operational are not the whole part that are impacted. If you think about this wall, I guess you can apply it all the way. QA, business, etc. DevOps actually means solving business problems. And for that, you'll need to break all the silos. So developers, operational, business, security, QA, to involve all the person. Everyone that is working on the project is responsible for it. It's not because you did your part that your part is done. You are responsible for everything you do. And that allows you to deliver faster. So be aware. There are some phantom menaces. DevOps, it's not removing ops. A lot of people say, oh, you are automating everything, so ops doesn't need to exist anymore. That's not true. Ops are still needed. They are the guy that maintain the platform. It's not because the platform is automated that you don't need people to maintain it, to monitor it, to upgrade it, etc., etc. Ops are still needed and are a valuable part, if not the most valuable part of the project. It's not the tools. A lot of tools says, oh, buy me this solution and then you are going to be DevOps. It's not true. It's not just culture. All the stuff I had said, all the stuff I will say will not just be it. You have all the tools and the cultures and all the people around the community that will help you through this journey. And as I said, it's not just Dev and Ops. All the people are involved. And also, one mistake that's often made, it's not just the job title. You cannot ask a DevOps engineer. That doesn't mean anything. It's like, oh, I want an agile engineer. Doesn't mean anything. So DevOps is really something you emphasize. You want to be DevOps in the way you work. You're not working DevOps. You can be a DevOps coach, for example, or a developer, or an operational into the DevOps philosophy. Okay, why then? That's the question. You're going to have teamwork. All the persons are going to work together. You're going to have developers bringing ideas to operational, operational giving ideas to developers, also giving constraints, also giving tips or whatever. And then you're going to have a better share of knowledge and a better productivity and quality in the product. But I will come again to that. You're going to answer the question of agility, being stuck into the infrastructure. So you're going to be more agile. You're going to have this flow of code that's going to be able to be delivered in production like this, instead of having to plan like 3 weeks in advance because you had changed one configuration in the project. You're going to increase the quality because you're going to have less frustration on the team and they're going to be more focused on the work and the quality they're going to make. You're going to have the tests that are going to be here to ensure and being run every day, every commit, to ensure that you're not breaking anything. As I said, you're going to reduce frustration. Why? You're going to have the developer that's going to be responsible for his work until production, the operational that's going to be responsible for any manipulation he's going to make, and he's going to help the developers. So any choice that is made is to the whole business line and to the whole flow. So everyone is responsible, everyone takes action, and the teams takes responsibility, meaning you do not have frustration of being, the single pole of failure or whatever on the team. That does not exist anymore. And most importantly, when someone will going to ask you, like, how many times to deliver that to production, you're not going to have to say 2 weeks, you say 2 minutes, because you change the line and it's flowing all the way to production. So why is good, but how? First, you change the culture. As I said, it's not everything, but it's a big part. You cannot go into DevOps without knowing, okay, I did DevOps, but you need to know why and how the culture is here. You go with incentives to the team. You need the team to be wanting to go DevOps, like agility. You don't just like say, oh, you're going to do agile now. No, the team has to want to do DevOps as agility. You're going to have to unify the processes, the ops and the devs and the business and the QA and everything. If everyone works in their silo with their own methods, their own processes, you're not going to be able to communicate. Unify everything. Use the same tools. Use one Jenkins, or at least use Jenkins both. Use a Jira. Use whatever you want, but use the same tools. It's going to be far more easier to communicate, to share stuff. Some tips. It's agility. Don't waterfall it. Go iterative. As agility, it doesn't make any sense to like big bang a DevOps transformation. It's going to bring far more problems that solve anything. Go small steps. It's going to be far more easier. Measure the team success. If you want the team to fall into it, it's going to be part of the incentives. If you show the team, hey, we did that. Look, we have like 10% more SLA or whatever. Oh, look, we are compliant with the test. Or, oh, look, we have this and this is working. Or the process takes like 10 minutes instead of 30 minutes to run. All these kind of small steps. But also on the other side, saying, hey, guys, be careful. You broke that. Fix it now. And then you're going to fix it in like 20 minutes instead of having it going to production because you didn't see it. And you figure out when the client said or your test or whatever say, oh, it's broken in production. And you're going to be having to make a hot fix and being in the panic and everything to fix everything. And the people comes first by giving them this envy to go DevOps. If they don't want to go DevOps, don't try, it's not worth it. Then you bring the tools, they're going to help them. If they know how to use the tool and they know why they use the tools, tools are going to be powerful. And if you have goal that, you're going to go fast. Tools then. We have seen all this kind of methods and stuff. You know why you want to go DevOps, how you want to go DevOps. Tools are here to support it. They are here to make your life easier. But they're not the ultimate weapon. They have like a myriad of, didn't say it. There's a myriad of tools, really a lot of tools, of concepts, etc. And they all say, I am the silver bullet. Yes and no. I want maybe to insist on two of them. The continuous integration, continuous development. It's kind of trendy right now. Yes, it's good, and it's really nice to say you push your code and it goes to production. But between having your project maybe a monolithic application and having a continuous deployment, don't expect to do that in 6 months. You're not going to need a lot of work, a lot of increments, and a lot of improvements before you can say, okay, I'm using tools to have continuous deployment. It's going to have to be a lot of work. So be careful on that. So tools are really good, and the real power that come with that is the tool chain. Does anyone has already heard about tool chains? Tool chaining, maybe? Okay. So the idea is you have, for example, tools like GitLab or Jenkins that on their own are really powerful and do a lot of things. But then they added the opportunity to bind them together. And from that point, you go from having a really powerful source management and having a really powerful build manager, and you bind them together. So when you commit, for example, you hook it, and your Jenkins says, oh, there's a commit, I'm going to build. And then you hook it on the next tool, Nexus Artifactory, you push it there. And you remove a lot of manual actions. And that's good, because manual is error. We are humans, we do errors. It's okay, we're here to fix them too. But be careful. As long as you have humans doing stuff, we're going to do errors. We're like this, we're not machines. But then we have tools. Tools help us. So the idea of the tool chains is to ease this flow from the moment we have the code to the moment we have it in production. So this is a flow. Again, as I said, this is subjective. This is a really generic tool chain. You're going to have to adapt it to your own project because you're going to have your own objectives, your own priorities. For example, you're going to want to focus on monitoring or creation of the code, but maybe not all the stuff. So I'm just going to go through all of them and give some examples. I'm not going to workflow. Tools are going to be presented by content with real-life demo. No bugs. OK, so creation, basically, it's all things that cover the code. So you make code reviews, merge requests. You ensure you have your, the team that works together. You make feature branches, etc. All the source management. Then you can verify it. So you run the code, the test on the code. It can be functional, performance, and other. This is not exhaustive, by the way. Again, there's only part of it. It's just an introduction. When your code is tested and built, you can package it. You can store it and say, OK, it's on the package manager. It's ready to be released if it's validated. OK, it's validated. We can release it. So you manage the change sets. You push to the environment you want to release to automatically, of course, because if you push by hand, it's going to be an error. Then you configure your infrastructure on which the code has been released. So you can have like code as infrastructure as code, sorry, with a lot of tools like Docker or whatever, or PaaS solution, YaaS solution, all this kind of stuff that allows you to automate again. And when it's on the production that has been configured, you watch it. So you watch that your performance is OK. You watch that your response time is OK, that the end user has what it expected, for example, with Selenium test or other kind of tools. So this is basically the chaining. And the idea is that DevOps aims at basically automate this flow. Today, a lot of processes involve a lot of manual actions between all those steps that are not all. Some companies have more or less, depending. I'm just going to show you now a small example on where tools are placed into that and what they do. Creation and code management. You can have, for example, Git and Mercurial. I insist on Git. We have another tool that I will show just later. Verification. You will have all the Java unit tests with JUnit, Selenium, for example, for interface tests. Package management. You're going to have tools like Nessus and Artifactory that can help you store your stuff. Release management. You can deploy with Ansible, Puppet, Shell, whatever. You can configure your infrastructure with Docker, Vagrant, OpenShift, Kubernetes. You can monitor with an Elastic Stack on the end, having nice graphs of curves and saying, oh, we have a gap here. And then you can support it with tools like GitLab, Bitbucket, GitHub. That's going to embark more tools, especially on the creation verification part. You can have tools like Rancher, Docker Swarm to manage your swarms of infrastructure. And you can make all the process go with a Jenkins. And then you have it, a tool chain. Simple as that. OK, you have to configure it still. But there it is. So you have a lot of stuff. And I know I said a lot in a short period of time. So too long didn't listen. 5 points. You break the silos. You bring people together. You make them communicate. You make them love each other, almost. You go iterative. Especially, don't waterfall it. Big bang is your worst enemy. You have something you want to fix because you know it's going to improve it. You fix it. Then you're going to see the next step. Go by small step. By the way. Oh. No. OK. Keep it simple and stupid. The smallest action is the best. Measure the progress. Watch it. Show it to the teams. Show it to yourself, to your manager, saying, oh, we did it. You know, we invested that, and we got that. It's worth it. You can see it. Like agility. If you fail, it's OK. You go iterative. That's why you go iterative, because if you take the wrong decision, you can change it, and then you can adapt to have a better one. Failing is not a real failure, actually. And you are your own master of DevOps. It's unique to your project, and it's not because one project made this that you have to do the same. You're going to have to adapt to your project, to your organization. You are your own builder of DevOps. There it is. I thank you. I hope you like it. And you are now ready to rock. And if you have any questions, I'd be pleased to take them.